So recently, there have been some protests in Serbia. Apparently, this is the opposition protesting against the Serbian president because they don't like his position when it comes to the sanctions against Russia and him being neutral in all this and not supporting the West. And these people wants to be closer to the West rather than Russia. But if you know Serbian history, Serbia doesn't have a really good history with Western countries after the fall of Yugoslavia and the succeeding wars with other regions within the area. Okay. Then they also have protests in Slovakia, and the government of the president of Slovakia, which is called Fico. This individual was attacked. He was attacked with a gun by an individual who supported Ukraine, and he wasn't happy with his policies against Ukraine. Well, thousands of people gathered to protest against him. The protest was organized by an organization that supports the war in Ukraine. And Fico well claimed that many of those that were present in the protest, they were not natives from the country. They were Ukrainian refugees or other foreigners that came to protest and show a multitude of individuals in front of the cameras. He did say that people are not happy because of his position taken against Zelensky and the decision he made about cutting Russian gas transit through Ukraine. And now this is having an effect in the price within the market of gas in Europe and other countries. So the countries that border Ukraine, they are the ones that are suffering the most. We're talking mainly about Transnistria, which is a region of Moldavia. We're talking about Slovakia and other countries which benefited from the transit of Russian gas through Ukraine. Although they are at war, some economic agreements continue to flow, continue to be active. So Fico says that while they're providing benefits, while they're providing weapons and support to a country, that they don't have the best interests of the other countries in mind. This decision of cutting Russian gas has had a very negative effect in the country, and this has led to the confrontation between these two, Fico and Zelensky. So now people are protesting. It's pretty much the same organizations we've seen in 2014 Maidan revolution in Ukraine, and it seems like they have the same aim. In Slovakia, they went as far as I say, trying to take away his life. Now they're protesting, just like we saw in Georgia not long ago, when they decided to approve a law that will not authorize foreign organizations or foreign agents to have any influence in the political situation in the country, which is a law that the UK, the US, and many other countries have. But apparently, they don't want Georgia to have it because they have an interest in that country. So many Georgians have been protesting, asking to get closer to the EU rather than being neutral in this conflict with Russia. So, you know, many Georgians are acting as mercenaries in the Ukrainian Foreign Legion, and many of them are coming back to the country and they're taking part of these protests as well. So the situation in Slovakia is getting worse. Not only that, this is having an effect in big European countries, mainly Britain. The head of the biggest British company when it comes to providing gas and electricity, I think is British Gas, he came out publicly saying that the reserves of gas in the country can last only for a week. And they blame Russia for this. They're saying that the war Russia started in Ukraine is to blame for the situation in Britain at this point. The gas in Britain is already extremely expensive. If you compare it to other countries around the world and even in Europe, the price is extremely expensive. And many countries have been receiving a lot of subsidies and a lot of money from the European Union to help them balance the cost of gas to their citizens. But in the case of the UK, because they left the European Union, they have to rely on themselves, and now the price of gas is so high. Some people in the UK have decided not to pay their bills, and some people are in arrears paying the bills. Anyways, the reserve can last for a week, and they blame this on Russia. However, as I told you before, the decision taken by Zelensky, in which he decided to stop the transit of Russian gas through Ukraine, has a major influence on this. And this is something that they don't want to talk about, they don't want to mention. Just like the sanctions that they impose on Russia, Russian oil, etc., is having a huge effect in the price of gas, electricity, and that has an effect on everything in Europe. So this is the current situation at the moment in Slovakia, and I explained to you the reasons why some people are protesting and why the president of that country is not happy with the decisions taken by Ukraine. Also, you need to bear in mind that Ukraine has been under Russian attack. Ukrainian gas depots, Ukrainian infrastructure to transport gas has been under Russian attack. And now, because they decided not to export gas and electricity, the Russians are saying, okay, so if they're not gonna use that infrastructure to transport our gas, we'll bomb it. So even Ukraine is gonna have a massive problem because the Russians are targeting all these gas reserves that are located in the western part of the country, and they will be targeting all the pipelines that they used to be used to transport Russian gas to other countries like Moldova, which decided not to pay the gas bill to Gazprom, which is one of the biggest Russian companies when it comes to the exportation of gas. So this decision will have a huge negative effect in Ukraine and in many other countries. And although we are in winter now, the gas is also used throughout the year for the generation of electricity. They use in commercial kitchens, and they use in many factories as well. So this will have a huge effect on the economies of the European Union and other countries. Now, obviously, the Americans have brought a solution. They create a problem and they offer a solution, which is the importation of liquefied gas from the US, okay, to the European Union. Liquefied gas that mostly come from fracking in the US, a very dangerous practice which pollutes whatever you do, the activities, you pollute the soil. And many countries have decided to, okay, let's do this. And although it's a solution, it's extremely expensive compared to cheap Russian gas. So keep an eye on this. Please share this video if you like it. And as always, I'll continue informing you.